Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Kim.
Good morning.
How
Hey,
how are you?
yeah, I'm doing good.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. For today's topic, we're going to discuss healing and letting go. Give some examples and give a personal insight on what healing means for us versus what letting go means as well. Would you like to start?
Sure. So I am Kim. This is my friend Shalanda. We started a motivational march maybe a couple years ago. Last year we really didn't do it. But I'm glad to be able to go back and look at our videos to see our growth. Um, so this year, basically, what motivational march is us posting different quotes or pictures or things encouraging people. Because our timelines are hurting. I noticed that everybody's hurting, everybody's going through something. So, what better way than to kick off the second month of the year with just motivating people and encouraging them, and hopefully that they get a fresh start, a good start. And so, actually, this is our second go around. We recorded the first time, but it was unfortunate. So I admit that we was unable to save it. So it was unfortunate that we was unable to save it. So I know that God has something great in store for the both of us as well as our listeners and people who are listening. I hope that you're able to get something from it. So we're basically sharing our personal experience and stuff that we went through, and I hope that you are encouraged or motivated or able to do better. I mean, or if you're going through something that you're able to learn something what we went through. So basically my healing and letting go. Um, Healing and letting go. So probably some years ago, my friend, I was at work. I was leaving work. I was working at Walmart, and I was leaving work, and my friend told me something. I really don't know what the conversation was prior to her telling me this, but it's like, you don't love yourself. And I was like, what? I mean, I probably cussed her a new booty hole, then,
You
because
did.
of the fact that, because of the fact I was like, how dare you tell me this? But it hurt, and it hurted like a two-edged sword because it cut me deep, and the only thing I could do was cry. Like I went to my car and I started crying. But ever since then, I've been on a self-love journey, and that been years ago. But sometimes it takes time to get you to where you need it to be. I know right now I'm in a good space. I'm at peace. But it took me years to be here. And so even with my healing letting go, like for the last couple of years, I've been on a self love journey. So they've been a part of healing letting go. And I had to learn that everybody cannot go on my journey with me. And you will hear me say this probably a couple times because we have another video that we're gonna do. Um, which is basically, oh, it's a good topic. We'll introduce that. You'll have to listen to that on the next video. But so basically, I was holding on to this person that I had been holding on to for years. That I had been holding on to for years, and so letting go was kind of difficult. But I was on the fence about it. So it's like I prayed for that person to be here. And this is one example, one person though. I mean, it don't have to be just people. It can be things or other things. It can be things, or something that you're going through, or something that you're not ready to let go of, whether it's a death or a job or anything. So it don't have to just be a person, but this particular person, I talk about this person a lot because I really had a very deep attachment to this person. And so, in order for me to move on and be on a better journey, I had to let go of my attachment to this person to even move forward because it's like I was praying, God, like, Lord, I know I can't do this. I need to let go, like, this person, he's so bad for me, but at the same time, he wasn't all bad. It's just that both of us was hurt. We was hurt people hurting each other, because previously before I met him, I had left my child's father, but it was a lot of red flags. And so when you get red flags, I do advise that, you pay attention to the red flags, pay attention to the details. I'm not saying my child's father was a bad person because he really isn't. It's just that our growth time together was over. And our separation from each other was kind of tragic because of the events that led up to it or what happened. But at the same time, we no longer served a growing purpose for each other. It was basically just time for us to move on from each other. But so after that, I hit with this person, and we grew attachment to each other, and it was just like I was on the fence. Like I dealt with this person for 6 years, off and on, off and on. But some had always been tugging at my spirit after, like this not the person for you. No, like I know that you care about this person, you want to be there for this person, but this not the person you should be with. This not who you should attach yourself to. And the thing about it is I was praying to let them go, but I also was praying to keep them. And so one thing about that, when you start praying about stuff, you can't expect the change if you're trying to hold on to the same thing that you had been doing. And so that's basically what I was doing. So that was part of my letting go. And letting go of that person was the hardest thing, but I began to flourish too. Um, Things started to look a little better, get a little better, but I also end up in some other stuff. So, but that's just me, and it just proves that when you're trying to heal alone, that it's harder when you're trying to heal alone. But when you let God take control of it and take the course of your healing journey, then it's so much better than what you can do alone. Because oftentimes people say that, oh, I don't need nobody, I don't need this, I don't need everybody, need everybody. You need somebody. You can't make it in this world alone without anybody. Guess what? If you got a child, you gotta have a daycare. If you got a car, you gotta have a mechanic. It's just simple things where you say you don't need anybody, but you do need somebody. I don't care whether you're paying for services or not. You still paying for it because it's a need here. It's a need. You do need people, and you also need people in your life that are on the same, not on the same level, but a higher level than you. Because when you're dealing with people on the same level as you tend to think like them, and you really can't go anywhere farther than what you're doing because that person don't have a broader mindset. But when you get like-minded people or that's willing to go higher and then willing to take guidance from somebody that's on a higher level, then you're able to progress. So my healing journey and let go was like so much different. But I had one thing about people, you can talk to people all you want and coach them, but until they're ready to let go, and until they are ready to heal. My friend said that, but if I went in a place of acceptance for that, then I wouldn't have never took what she said and started trying to work on it. And that took a little bit of time, a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, instead of me trying to work on me, heal me, to let me go. But I also learned that even the old stuff, all that old stuff. It's unfortunate that you went through stuff in the past, that you may have been molested, raped, neglected, abused, verbally abused, mental abuse. All of it is very unfortunate. But all this stuff from your childhood, teenage years, you gotta take it. You gotta pull it out. Pull this stuff. You gotta dig deep inside of you because that's the things that you gotta hear from. If you don't hear from the things that you went through in the past, say I'm sorry and forgive people for it, and I'm sorry and apologize. It's not easy. It's not always easy. You gotta understand that even with that, everybody is not gonna tell you that they are sorry. They're not. They're just not because everybody's not on that level, and you have to be comfortable with it. But you gotta dig deep, pull all this stuff out, and see this one of the things that I've been working on for my stuff in the past. It's been very unfortunate that like I had to deal with it. So even one of the people that I had encountered with in the past, what girl?
I
What
was
you
just
raising your
going
hand
to say,
for?
I love it. I love it. I was going to actually ask you, can you give us, like, can you give some examples on what you mean when you say let go of things from like your childhood and the past? Because I've had that same thing. I've had that said to me once. I was at church And I've also had it said to me when I was sitting with when I was actually sitting with a spiritual healer when I went to Puerto Rico. I want you to explain that to me because it took me a minute to actually think on it and internalize what could be in my childhood. I mean, I'm 30 years old. What can be in my childhood that I need to go back and think on to fix and revisit? What does that mean? Can you give an example of that?
Well, explain it. It's some things that happened to me in my childhood. I don't mention it. It's because I mean I was naive. Stuff that happened to me because, not saying that our parents are their parents, but they just going on are they the worst, but they go on a whim and they learn stuff. Even us as new parents, we learn as we go. And so, just for instance, it's something that happened to me. Somebody had done something to me. Um, and so happened I was in a restaurant and I sat right across from them. And I usually, when I was younger, it would have provoked my spirit and made me like I would have acted fool and was just ready to go because I didn't want to be near that person because of what they did. But my healing journey was digging deep and letting go of everything that had happened to me that was unfortunate to me. Let me be able to sit in the same room in the same surrounding with this person and not even be bothered. I mean, you or even my friend. I had a friend, for instance, when she and we no longer friends anymore. But when I was younger, I had a friend, and so she was listening to stuff that other people said instead of listening to me. And it took us a long time to even be cordial. I mean, we was on fighting terms where we wanted to fight each other. When we see each other, like it was just like we had words for each other. I mean, I remember even me and you when we was younger. It's like I pulled you into this situation that miss, ready to fight because, and it was silly, but at the same time, it's just that a lot of stuff took place within that. And I was young, I didn't know any better, but we got to a place now where we can be cordial, we can speak to each other. I can ask that person like how your kids doing or something of that nature, or even like on Facebook, we like each other posts or tell each other happy birthday or different things. But it takes time to get to that place, and it took years to get to where I could be cordial with her. But I did have to learn too, because some people they really want to be there, but it's just not meant. I mean, it's not meant for that person to go on their journey with you. So digging deep and pulling in your past, I mean, you got to dig deep. I mean, sometimes you got to sit there and think like me. I had to sit there thinking I was somewhere one day, and something said to me and said, um, you have to give yourself everything that happened to you. That's like, okay. And I listen, I often listen to different sermons, to different preachers. And one day, he was talking about it and he was saying how unfortunate it was that you have to go through it, these certain things, but you have to move on. You have to forgive yourself. So I started thinking about everything that I went through in my past, whether it's me feeling neglected, people laughing at me and mocking me because of my weight, because of my size, because of my hair, or if it was guys that I like that did me wrong that took advantage of me because they know I didn't know any better, or was it because of my siblings, something that we did or something I did to them. I had to pull deep, like go deep into that thing and just see like where are my emotions stemming from? Is it because of something that happened in the past? Is it because this person actually did something to me? Or is it because I'm mad because I've seen this person from the past and it started all the way over? So I really just had to dig deep within it. And I had to say, okay, you know, this happened, but this shouldn't happen to you. um, you have to forgive yourself for it, because that wasn't your fault. Or Kim, if you did this, forgive yourself. I mean, apologize to this person and tell them I'm sorry. No, either me and you, stuff that we did to each other, we ever had to apologize to each other for. And that'll be on down the road, but we have to talk about it and hash it out. And so, looking for my previous video, I realized that I see my growth from my previous video, but to look at that from now is just so is really exciting to look at our level of growth. And like we haven't always just been out and open with each other because at first we used to step on each other's toes, but I had to think about it like you can't have a friend and you step around their toes. You're gonna have a real friend, a down to earth friend, true friend. Look, I'm gonna say what I gotta say and go on about my business. And that's how I feel about anything. A lot of people say I'm much like my mother because I say what I gotta say, but look, honey, I can't hold this in. I can't let anything build up on me. And that's part of my healing and letting go too. As much as I let stuff fester in me and build up in me, the more it hurts me. So even like with me leaving my child father, we parted for a year straight. When I say a year straight, we went out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and on Sundays we read. And thinking about it, like it was so much fun, but it was so crazy. And the only way we didn't go out is if it was raining. But I would let stuff build up on me so much because I wasn't talking to be people or bringing it out. It's just that we was sitting outside in free love with the club. What I mean, free love food club when Libations was open at that time. So anybody know free love, they know Libations used to be on the side of free love.
I went
And
with
we
you
was sitting there,
one time, right? I went with you once,
yeah,
and I,
one time, and it was the craziest night. I am so sorry that night because look, I
I
was not
feel
expecting that girl to do what she did, but I ain't even gonna call her name because some of y'all may know her. But the way she acted that night, fall on the ground, peeing
correct.
outside, the girl's crazy. But she's in so much of a better space too now. So it just tells our growth level too as well. But that night I sat outside in the car with my cousin and her friends, and they was talking about something, and I just snapped. All of a sudden I snapped, but when I snapped, it wasn't nothing that was going on. It was stuff that happened. It had to do with my child's father, everything that I
Yeah.
had built up at that point in time. Now this was years ago. This is nothing recent, but everything that I had built up at that point in time, and I just snapped and I was just crying. And everybody's trying to figure out what's wrong with me, but I think only my cousin realized that I was holding stuff in because I wasn't telling nobody what's going on. I wasn't telling nobody my feelings, my emotions, because I felt like, hey, I can't talk to people. I can't tell people certain stuff because they'll think this way about me, or they'll feel this way about me, or they won't understand. But nothing is new under the sun when you got parents and you got people that's older than you talking about it because most of the stuff that we are going through, somebody done been through or they done went through. And so I say you look into your well seasoned people. Now I don't call these people old. I call them well seasoned because honey, they got some seasoning in them that's just so deep that you just they savor it. You hear me? So what's up?
I want to jump in on that part. All right. When you said your spot about you weren't talking, I actually want to include something for that. I will say, I, with my current situation, and as far as how I had to internalize a lot of things, I had to try to internalize the death of my sister. I had to try to internalize my own personal divorce and realize that this is something that's been hitting. It was never fully connected. It was never fully a connection. It was just a bump head, bump head, bump head until that was finally released. But talking to someone, it can help, but if you're talking and you don't apply, you can still have that same outburst if you're not actually applying the information that you're given. I'll give an example. My I do actually feel like, for me, therapy, at first I was against it, but the more I started realizing, what it's really for, I felt a little bit better. But applying it was still a struggle point. And I'm going to be honest, it still is. So for me, I would say when I speak to my therapist, I would give her my information in complete confidence. She would tell me, hey, don't hold that in. Go back to that person and just say, hey, that really made me feel some type of way. And you know what? Even if you don't, I don't have to have an apology, but just know that's something that is actually kind of triggering for me, and I'm trying to heal. Just say it. And I will say I wasn't applying that. I was not applying it.
And you look,
Since I
and you
didn't
have to
apply
apply
it, that
it.
gave me a moment to actually, I lost it at work for a moment. And it wasn't necessarily, it was something that the individual was doing, but had I just went ahead and just started saying things right after it happened, yeah, it wouldn't have been bottled in and it wouldn't have been a big outburst of frustration. So it's
And
like
look,
I had to
I've
realize,
learned.
you know what, do not hold it in. If this is happening, then say something. And that very same person, even when we took it to another level and we spoke to someone that's higher up, that person still did not admit that they did it. because it wasn't in black and white. I said, you know what, that's fine. I mean, we can agree to disagree, but this is something that you've done. This is something that you've done, honestly, consistently. So I'm speaking up on it today. And I didn't say it happened yesterday. I'm saying there was a consistent trail of it, just like I'm being called out on things that I haven't been doing properly. And I'm okay with accepting that. I know even when I took my job, I'm going to be up and down. Mentally, I wasn't balanced to where I could focus on this one thing because there's so much going up here that I have to try to bring it in. They don't understand that, hey, I may have to pause for a second and speak with the district attorney about my sister. Hey, I may have to pause for a second and reach down and actually talk to a parent. I may have to pause for a second. I mean, even though it's not said, it's almost like, hey, what are you doing? Or, hey, we're not understanding this. We didn't give you this lesson. And the whole gist of the whole meeting was, I mean, honestly, just about clearing the air. And that's like, honestly, that was kind of what I got when it came to like the person that like our boss. Hey, clear the air. I didn't understand that this was going on. Go ahead. You raise your hand. Put your hand back down for you. Put your hand back down and you muted.
So yeah, the things that you're talking about, you're right. You can't let them bother in. I have learned that you have to say what you have to say, ask questions that you want to ask. Everything that you do, you may not get the right answer. You may not get the answer that you want, but it's okay because you ask what you want to ask. So let me ask you this: what is healing and letting go for you?
Um, well, for me, healing and letting go, I think using both of those words together, you may kind of feel like it's the same thing, but for me, healing is a process and letting go is a process too. So for me, when I decided to say I am going to fully heal, I completely just internalized myself. I had to look in. I did go to my childhood and I noticed that there were some things buried in my childhood that I just refused to discuss. I refused to talk about it, but it still would come in and hit. That was still something that would come in and hit. And it could be a simple word that would trigger. I had to reach in to find it and I had not applied that. So that was one example. An example from my childhood. I would say a trigger for me was the absence of my father. And even though when my father came back around, it's like we focused to get a relationship. And by the time that relationship had been somewhat mended, my father passed away. I didn't fully heal from that. And I didn't process it either because it's like, as soon as I get the chance to try to have a relationship with this person that helped conceive me, they're gone. I had to try to mentally internalize that. And I had to go through I did this in college. So my father passed away in college. And even in college, I kept thinking, you know what? I have my sister, I have my mom, I have my grandparents. Okay, maybe I can, I still have people that I could push through with. And I'll be honest, even with my father, I would have like dreams and visions of things. I actually dreamed of my father's death 6 months before it happened. And it kind of
Yeah.
crushed me to see like, why in the world would God let me see something like this? Why? And I kept asking, like, why is it did I do something? What am I doing that's so wrong, God? Like, can you come in and like help me with this? And I was so unbalanced to where that was the first time I actually opened up into therapy. And I did it while I was at Ole Miss. And I will be honest, my therapist, he just told me that's unfortunate. And I'm at a loss for words. Like when it actually happened, because I consistently went to therapy. Right when it happened, I opened my mouth, I said, something's gonna happen to my father. And I have no idea how to stop it. And my therapist was like, okay, we're gonna write this down. We're gonna take note and we're gonna try to help her because clearly something's different, something's going on up here. Right when it happened, I went and told my same therapist. And he was like, I can't say anything right now except what I told you the first day, because even with me taking all these notes, it's extremely unfortunate. And I don't really have an answer on how you were able to balance every time within this 6 months. And now you're here today and you're glowing almost like as if like you're I know you're not okay, but how do you feel? I said, honest, truthfully, I'm at peace with it. I am at peace with it. Now, was I telling the truth at that moment? I do feel like I was at peace, but I hadn't really accepted and internalized that, hey, you're at peace with his death, but you're not at peace with the fact that that bond had to just stop. It just had to pause. Even though you guys were connecting and you were on a better path with each other, now it stopped. You got your hand up. Go ahead.
One thing I have learned is that everybody don't understand the visions and how God works and different things of that nature. Um, and every gift that you have, people won't understand it neither as well. So, especially if they're not on a spiritual level or you know different things to do. And I know your therapist probably say that this that's crazy. You know, there may have been one of the thoughts that ran across his mind. Like, you know, because I remember me and you, and we was talking about it, how you said people didn't believe you, but then they said you crazy because it happened. And so, like, I mean, we talked about the dreams that I done had about different things, and stuff as well, and what happened afterwards. So, I mean, I understand, but it's, I can relate to that situation. Even my car accident, before I even wrecked the car, I had a dream of it, and I was so scared to drive that car. And eventually I decided to drive it, but the day that I drive it, um, I didn't take my child with me, and the side that my car landed on in the ditch was the side that my child would have been on. And so people don't understand it, but I understand what God was doing because of the fact that that car, it was something that I had to let go because it was something I really wanted. The car was silver, had the little shine to the sunroof, the system, the rims, and I love that car. I love it. I mean, I really love the car, but I love that car too much to the fact that I was missing something. And so God gave me this dream, and that morning, and I used I prayed, but that morning, but when I got in the car, when I got to the end of the dirt road, and I prayed to God, keep me, protect me, keep me safe as I travel, even drive mercy, because I was traveling from home all the way to Jackson every day to class, work, or whatever. So I was going back and forth, and that particular morning when something broke out the car because when I had the dream, I dreamed that something that I was going out the road, but I didn't know what happened, and I didn't see myself hit. So as I was going out the road, it's like it was a car at the end of the road, and I was like, "Oh, if I can just hit that car, maybe I'll be all right." But I missed the car and I hit the ditch. And for me to hit that ditch was amazing because I had to hit that car. It was full of kids that was just waiting to go to school. And if I had a did that, I would be able to lose myself. So God knows, He knows. But I didn't get hurt at all, you know. And so there was a blessing as well. I was just the lady who was in the car with the kids. She came and she hurried up, and all of this happened. The sun was up when this happened, so it was just like this time, like kids now have time change. So it was about six o'clock, 6-ish, when it happened. And so it was, I know I couldn't get my words right. And so, that was amazing. But, a lot of people, when I first had that dream, it's like my dad and them, I don't think they understand. And I don't even think they remember because it was a while before I drove the car because I was so scared of it. But that particular morning, I just so happened to get in. I just so happened to pray. So, that was just amazing. Like I said, everybody can understand. But let me let you go ahead on with your
No,
telling me,
go
let God
ahead.
take it. we
Go
probably
ahead. The point
experience
is
beats
like we're
about.
letting go right now. We're letting go and then we're healing still. So I think, yeah, it's fine.
No, it's
Um,
okay. You can go ahead because I think we can spare at least about 5 or 10 more minutes, maybe 5.
okay, gotcha. Well, for me, that was an example, that was kind of an example. And I realized that I actually had to let that go. And I'm gonna be honest, I just realized that I had to let that go. It was almost like, Shalonda, you do not have to mentally feel like your bond is severed now. Pray about it. And I mean, pray and talk out loud if you need to. There's really nothing truly wrong with it. You can pray and ask to speak to your dad. You can pray and try to say, hey, I need some words. I need some words that my dad would give me right now. And I've realized that actually helps. And I've done it so much with my sister to a point to where, hey, I'm completely out of my comfort zone on a lot of things, and I'm okay with it. I would have never opened up and started doing photo shoots and all the all the extra things that I've been like, you know what? It's okay. Step out. Like go. And like you keep telling me,
And that's
go, fly, little
awesome
birdie. And I'm
to
like,
see.
girl, what?
That
Did
is
she call me a
awesome to
bird?
see the element in doing things that you usually wouldn't do because we have to break out our comfort zone. And if people
Exactly.
are seeing like one of my posts I seen, you can never. Sometimes you gotta be uncomfortable to see change and to see progress. So sometimes it takes being uncomfortable. You can't stay in a comfortable place because as long as you're in a comfortable place, you'll keep doing that same old thing. Sometimes you got to be uncomfortable. You got to
Exactly.
feel like you don't supposed to be there in the room just to show you who you are in God, who you are, who you meant to be. You know, what can you do? How can you go forward? My job that I'm in now is totally out of my element,
Yes.
because it made me uncomfortable and I felt like I didn't want to be there, but it provoked change in me. So it provoked a lot of change in me. It helped me to be bold, to speak out, to open up my mouth. Is usually I would just be kind of quiet. I mean, people that know that I
Exactly.
talk. I love to talk. I love to laugh. I love to joke. But if you don't know me, then you wouldn't see that side of me because what they say, rest in bitch face. I got a rest in bitch face at this word. But
I think
it
I do
took me
too. I've been
time
told it.
to. I really had to do it because somebody talked about me so bad. I had to start fake smiling. So I had to fake a smile. But it took me to fake
I'm
my
working on that.
smile every day in order to actually gain a smile. And this is when I really began to smile, and my smile was just so genuine. But it took me having to fake that every day for my smile to become genuine. And I know this seems wrong, but yeah, sometimes you have to fake it until you can make it. And when I made it, I smiled because I found joy. Even through the midst of trying to fake a smile, I found joy.
Boy.
I found some type of joy. So
Well, we're gonna have to hit that note again, and you're gonna have to give me some examples before we do our Zoom on getting that resting face to where it's not shown and you can actually smile and get past
now
it.
look,
I we gotta work.
and
I gotta work on that
me,
because I'm still gonna be.
people tell me I wear my emotions on my face.
That's my.
And so
Wait a minute. What did you just
I
say?
can't play poker honey, because I ain't
And
got no
I'm like,
poker
I'm
face.
there for a second.
I ain't got no poker face honey, because
Oh,
these
yours
people be
is
up
like,
to the eyebrows, especially, you know. But I love to
I
joke,
love
I love to
that.
laugh, I love to smile, I love to dance. So it's just so much just about me. And one thing I always tell people, I'm an open book, but I'm closed. And so even with this, if you never pick up a book to read or you never talk to the person, you will never learn anything or you
Exactly.
will never know anything. So there's even books they say if you want to hide something, put it in a book because we do not read as a human race. We don't read. But I
Mm,
love to read. It's just certain things that I like to read. So you
right.
know,
And I do thank
sometimes you
you. I
gotta
thank
be
you for my
open and
book that
try
I
to
got.
talk
I
to
brought it
people and
with
have
me.
conversation. You said what now?
I said I appreciate the book that you got me. I brought it with us too. So I'm gonna be reading some more of that. What was the name? Hang on. I can actually grab it. What was the name of the book?
Girl, I don't know. Don't ask me.
You can't remember? Ah, you bought me a book and you
I
don't
don't even
remember
know
the
what
name?
book you're talking about because I think I don't know which one you're talking. Okay. Okay. Girl, get your money straight. Okay.
Yes, yes, I appreciate it. It's fun to be able to get books and motivate and move forward with a very, very close friend of mine. And I will say that I love you more than anything. And you are a sister that will be here forever within my heart since second grade. And you got me in trouble. You gonna be right here.
Baby. That was you. Don't start no mess.
That was you. It's okay. All I
Don't
said
start no
was, "What's your
mess.
name?" And you just had to keep talking, 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 and got us in trouble with this paddle. Well, who was that, Miss Wilson,
No, that was
or was
you.
it
You
Miss?
kept talking to me and you got us in trouble. I don't know, but my foot's still on fire. I mean, paddles too. I still feel the wind behind that. But
I think
yeah.
this
So
was
healing and
great.
letting go is the journey. Never let anybody tell you how to heal the time frame that it takes to heal. Because I know recently you lost your sister, and you said that people think that you're supposed to be healed from it by now. But everybody heals different, and everybody healing journey and letting go journey is different. Um,
And healing
I'm
from
not
that
gonna
hasn't
say
stopped. I will be honest, like it hasn't stopped because I mean, the media is taking in now to a point to where, oh wow, he did this to her sister. So what is he doing? Wow, he posted pictures of him not being in prison. Wow. And I mean, it's like you have to. A lot of people aren't really mindful of the family trying to heal. It's not something we need. It's not
mhm.
something my mother needs. So I have to try a lot harder to even balance on this side. I have to try to balance my emotions. I have to try to help balance the emotions of my mom. I have to try to help balance the emotions of my children until I was like, wait a minute, Shalanda, try to get everybody help. You cannot do this and stay stable on your own. And it's okay to say that. Just like you kept telling me, it's okay to not be okay. And I'll just call you, hey, today I'm not okay. Why are you not okay? And it could be just some simple, it could be the most simplest thing. Well, this parent blessed me out while I was trying to do this. Normally, any other day, I would have been like, oh, and she's
Whatever.
upset. Okay, I'll talk to her later. But no, that really hit like a nerve to where it's like, well, you're not doing this and you're not. And I'm like, wow. And I really just had a crying moment to where you don't understand. But you're right. I was like, no, they don't understand. So what can you do? Because you still have to try to help this parent with their child. Even when you have all of this, what are you going to do about it? So even my two children, they have therapy now. I'm still trying to get my mom to be comfortable with therapy, but I mean, it's just it's just the old school way she over there. So I just can't. That's just their way, you know. Hey, I can figure this out. I'm gonna pray about it. That's it. And I have to try to open
One
her
thing
up
I
to
do want to talk
understand you
about.
can talk to some. It's okay to talk to a therapist about it. It's okay to try to get some things out that's really still hurting. And I know it. I know my mom is hurt a whole like 10 times more. I mean, I don't have to put a balance on it, but the pain that my mother has is a completely different feeling from the pain that I have from losing my sister. It is. And I see my sister
One
as
thing
someone
I
that
want to
helped
talk
raise
about
me because she
before
was
we
always right there. But my mother sees it as her loss of a child, someone that she raised up to be this beautiful spirit that was really just snatched away. She sees it completely different. My children are going to see it as that aunt that we used to get to go see a lot. The rich aunt that had the pretty house, and like that's my daughter. That was my daughter. Oh, she had this and she had everything. And why did she have to leave? That was my daughter's first question. Why did she have to leave? And then once we moved from where we were living, they wouldn't sleep. They would not go to bed until they were in the bed with me every night. Do you think he's going to come back to hurt us too? I had to try to internalize that. And there were nights that I didn't sleep because they would jump up, they would get up scared, or they would just have to be snuggled right under because that was the only way that they internally felt safe, you know? And it's getting better. I've slowly transitioned both of them into, their own rooms, and we're kind of getting to our healing process. And truthfully, when you get information from people, oh wow, here he is with this same person that he was with that he was cheating on your sister with. I don't need that. That's not helping my healing process. That's not helping my mother's healing process. We're trying to heal ourselves. We're trying to trust the justice system. And I've had my moments to where I said, you know what? I don't trust the system because look at what we're having to deal with. I don't mind saying it. I've openly said, hey, I do not trust this system, especially when it comes to the murder of an African American woman who openly said, I'm going to get away from this person, who openly called a police station and said, hey, there's some things that are going on right here. I need some type of assistance. That same person that stayed away for 2 weeks, and that person was, forced into coming back thinking, okay, we're just going to pack up everything and sell the house. And that did not happen. She didn't, I mean, there was no real understanding, but we had to try and internalize all of that. And that was really my mother's question. That was not why did she go? We can't continue to say why. We know it happened. And every officer, every detective, and every attorney that we've spoken to, well, this is obvious for what it is. We have these insights that are that's showing us it was premeditated. We have all of this information. Sometimes it just takes time. And of course, I feel like, okay, what more time do you need? Because the minute this is taken care of, our healing process can start. No, you can heal either way. And that was the first step that I had to just understand, you know what, you can heal either way. There are some people in this world that never receive justice for what happened to them, ever. And
Okay, before we get ready to go, it is something that I do want to say. Um,
you still got your
People
hand
have
up.
to be mindful.
Uh-huh.
People have to be mindful of what they say to people when they're going through and when they're healing, because of the fact that everybody, like you or your mother, y'all on a healing journey, for people to keep sending information, saying, oh, this what they had planned already, or sending pictures of him, or sending messages and videos that he posts, they have to realize that they interrupting y'all healing process, and that to me they're not being um they're not being respectful, or respecting where you are at and thinking about what you're going through. To me, it's selfish because of the fact that they send them mess. That's exactly what it is, mess. Because you're going through something. Only thing that they do is get you mad all the way over again, and bring stuff out of you when you're trying to heal from it. So I suggest to people that do that, if you're not a friend or somebody that you constantly talk to every day, you know where they are in their healing process, stop sending stuff like that. Me and my friend are friends. We've been friends for years, and you know, I feel like this person did this, so why am I following them? What is it is that I need to see? Why should I look at this to see this? I don't want to look at it because of the fact that I don't want to have something to think that I need to go tell her. Because if it's nothing that's immediate harm or threat on y'all life, they shouldn't be sending messages saying that, oh, he had it, oh, he's oh this, oh, he said that. Because to me, they interrupting y'all healing process. Cause and it's a journey and it takes time. But I hope that we can continue this conversation about what
Yes,
happened with your sister on one of our other videos too as well.
we can do a part two in our next one. What do we have up next? What do we
Okay,
have?
let's get
Seasonal versus long term. What are we gonna hit?
let's do a part two and I have to go. So I know that we will introduce our next topic, which is seasonal versus long term people or relationships. So I'm looking forward to that. But until next time, y'all stay motivated, stay encouraging, and I'm gonna encourage y'all to join our journey and encourage somebody else.
Exactly. Focus on your healing and letting go.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
See you, my friend. I love you.
I love you too.